Hey everybody. So now we're going to do the other video in here, which is the pedal I originally went to buy during my lesson, which is the Noble Tone. So, like I said in the last video, this is based on the Analog Man Prince of Tone. So, if you don't know, Analog Man, they make those. They made the infamous. Originally, it was the King of Tone, so they made the infamous King of Tone pedal, and then because they were getting such a big backlog and so popular, they moved it back down. The founder of the company, the designer, decided to create um, a smaller pedal because the Analog Man King of Tone is one of those bigger pedals. I think it's got two different drive sections, or maybe a drive and a clean boost. Again, I guess I was born in the wrong time or something, because I only hear about these things like the Klon and the Analog Man King of Tone and stuff. I only hear about them until they're like sky high prices and way out of my league. I think like the King of Tone, there's a long wait list for it, and if you manage to try to snag one on Reverb, I think they're in the thousands, maybe lower thousands, but I've heard they can get up to a couple $1,000. The Klon Centaur, which is what the other Harby pedal copy, I think if you get an original one, like go on Reverb or eBay, those things go on upwards of $8,000. So for a pedal that originally sold 225 in the 90s, right? So anyway, so what the guy did from Analog Man is then he created the Prince of Tone, which only gave you one side of the pedal, like one channel, one drive, whatever, however you want to phrase it. And to kind of lessen his load, he could churn out those pedals quicker, since it wasn't a two-stage pedal. It was just one. There was just one thing, one side of it, less to deal with. He could churn those out quicker. They were cheaper. They weren't on a wait list. Well, once people got, pretty soon, no shock, with the price of the King of Tone going up and the price list and the wait list and everything, people started hopping to this. Well, then with the Prince of Tone, then that started getting a backlist. And then I believe he still makes them. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm only getting second, third hand knowledge of these pedals. I've kind of done cursory research. So anyway, with that, just like the Klon, everybody and their mother has tried to make a copy of that King of Tone, Prince of Tone. Again, you've got the little MXR Duke of Tone, which they, I think, advertised early this year. Again, I got this one also from Eldorado Hills Music. They said, like, look, this is basically the Prince of Tone in a smaller little package. It has the switch for the OD, the clean boost, and the distortion. And I think at least has a trim pot. I can't remember. It might also have the dip switches, but at the very least, it has a trim pot. I remember when I got this, I liked how it sounded when I played it at the store, but then when I put it on my pedal board and I played it through my little amp, it didn't sound as good. So what I did was I opened up the back, I accessed the trim pot. I can't remember, one way or another, I either dimed it to the clockwise or counterclockwise, and now it's got this very much this scooped mid-range sound, which I liked way better. And so, and then that was that for a little while. Then they started my store got these Harby pedals. And again, shout out to my friend Sebastian there. Kind of said, hey, look, he goes, hey, Daniel, it's like, he goes, look, there's these little pedals, they're boutique, blah, 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 blah. It's a smaller operation. It's not MXR. It's not Analog Man. It's not Dunlop. Well, I guess it's kind of more like Analog Man because it's a small shop, not big national organization, multinational corporation like Dunlop or MXR, Boss, anything like that. And they kind of told me, look, they're making copies of all these overdrives, these distortions. There's the Centauri, that's the Klon. There's this guy that's the um, Prince of Tone, and then the Analog Man, and then they have a blue one, which is kind of like which copies the can't remember what they call it. I think it's the Sobtech. I think it's what they call it, the Sobtech something. Harby does, but what it copies is one of the Electro Harmonics. Oh shoot, I'm spacing. Um, it's the pedal that David Gilmour was famous for using, the Electro Harmonics one. It'll come to me. Anyway, so that's what they were making. And so my friend Sebastian hooked me up with this. He said, let's go try it. I think I had my Les Paul Greenie, and I had my pedal board with the Duke Tone. He goes, let's compare and contrast. So that's what we did. We have that one, and he plugged me into that. Got, I'd be playing it, and then he'd fiddle with the knobs. And then he said, okay, let's try the Harby. And then, we put the Harby up, and we compare and contrasted that. And the Harby, as you'll hear, blew this thing away. Kind of like the Centauri modified. It's going to be louder, but there's something a little bit more. I think when you got a bigger headspace, bigger room, you get a little bit more. You can fit maybe better circuit boards. You can better parts. Clearly better parts, but you can do a little bit more. So they had that for a little while. Then they sold it. I expressed disappointment that they sold them and they didn't have any more, knowing that Cameron would purchase more if he saw more people wanting them. So I told him I was interested, and he said, okay, I'll put another order for more of those pedals, because he knew those were flying off the shelf anyway. So he knew okay, he's going to get sales. It's not a problem. It's just kind of needs someone to request them so he can go ahead and make the order. And by the way, as I bought that Centauri modified, there was another guy eyeballing it. He wanted it. One of the workers there, John, one of my other friends, he was laughing because he was telling Cameron, the owner of Eldorado Hills Music, he goes, yeah, I think we're about to have a knife fight with those two. They're both arguing over it and stuff. Cameron's like, well, he goes, just let them know that I'll put in a second order. I'll order more of those pedals. So he's going to do a third order. Anyway, so this pedal, I just love it. I think it just sounds really good. Clearly high quality parts, good tone, good sound. Enough of my blabbing. 8 minutes, 20 seconds of my blabbing. Let's get to some tones here. So right now I've got the volume at noon. I've got the tone all the way up. I've got the drive all the way up. I'm on the distortion channel right now. Now, let's go to the boost channel. Now we'll go to the overdrive. So that's what that does. It's I know it's very boring, but let me grab something real quick, because like that Duke of Tone that I have, this pedal also has dip switches. So what you'll do is unplug it. So you'll open up the back. There's 4 little things here. Probably should have done this before, but oh well. Cue that famous meme, 3 hours later. Yeah, it'd be a little faster if I had an electric screwdriver. I don't. Okay, so maybe they don't want me showing the board. But, so... So again, I don't know if... Well, I guess technically I'm not really showing the board as much, but... So anyway, there's these 2 little... try to do it right. Little dip switches, and then there's a little trim pot. So, let me get the little notes here. So, the internal dip switch 1 is... So they do have numbers. There's a... It says 1, 2, and then on. So the internal mids, the first dip switch is a mid switch, controls the low mids by increasing the filter frequency of the first op amp gain stage when on. Okay? Internal gain dip switch 2 doubles the gain ratio on the second op amp stage so that the diodes clip more easily when on. And then the internal trim pot controls the treble, allowing dull guitars and amps to shine brighter. So, I'm just going to fold this like this. So, what I'm going to do is slowly, oh well, I'm just going to go ahead and, let's see, where's the other one? Yep, here we go. So, right now both dip switches are off. So I'm going to turn dip switch 1 on. So that's the internal mids. Now I'm going to put the mid switch on. Okay. See if we can hear a difference here. I can hear that. We're on the overdrive. Let's go to the boost. And then go to distortion. Yeah, I can hear that. I don't know if you can, but I can definitely hear that tone. So let's go back and turn it off. So. Which, that sounds nice. For point of reference, I'm leaving them off, but okay, so let's turn it back on, the mids. Livens it up, gives it a little more punch, a little bit more drive, a little bit more, a little more sag, that tube amp sag kind of feel. Okay. So the next one is adds more gain. So I'm going to turn that one on. So. So for me personally, I would turn, at the very least, turn 2 down. I don't want. I'm someone who plays more classic rock and blues, so I don't want as much of that like fluffy kind of slushy distortion coming at me too hard. I like a little more definition in my drives and distortion. And I turn the other one off too. I did try the little internal trim pot. You know, did the diming it. Yeah, I just wasn't for me. If you're in the distortion mode, it's gonna. You already get a lot of drive. You're already getting a lot of distortion, a lot of treble. I don't really think you need a lot more. But again, to each their own. Like I said, it's just a little. Yeah, it's just a little blue trim pot, and then you just stick your little driver in there, or your little screwdriver, and you just put it in. I like that in this it tells you it says Harby pedals, Noble Tone, V1.0.0, artwork by Monique Harby, and then it has whichever tech worked on it has a DK dated 10/20/22. So this was made late last year. So, and my serial number is 428. So I like that they put the numbers on the box on there, on the amp, and then it matches to the box. So, one thing I think I did forget to tell you was the price. So for the Centauri modified, that's about $199, so about $200. With as much as you're getting for that pedal, all the little mods, the tone sculpting features, all of it, that's a good deal for $200 in my view. Again, clones can kind of be all over the place. Yeah, you could probably get a Wampler Tumnus, the mini version, for way less. I'm sure of it. But again, then all you have is like one or two knobs, and you don't quite have all the tone sculpting. Was it worth it for me? Absolutely. Now this pedal here, this one right here, this is, I think it's about 169, so about 170. So with both of these, it was just under $400 I spent on those pedals. I don't regret it. These are going to go on this little board. It's hard to see it. I call it my travel board right here. Wait. Not very good at this. There we go. My travel board there. So, you've got the right to left, or left to right, you've got the Seymour Duncan pickup booster, the Harby Centauri modified, then in that blank space will be the Harby Noble Tone, then there's the Electro Harmonics Mod 11, it's got all kinds of different phasers, choruses, rotary speaker, all that kind of fun stuff, and then this little Dunlop, I think it's the Crybaby Junior. Yeah, the Crybaby Junior. So, that's kind of what I use for my board. It's holds about 5-6 pedals total, and I can just take it with me to my guitar lesson, plug it into the amp, and just kind of get a general good sound out of it. I really like these Harby pedals. So like I said, $400 for those two pedals, two well-made copies of legendary distortion overdrive pedals. I think that's a killer banging deal, man. So I thank Cameron and Eldorado Hills Music and Sebastian and John and all of them for helping me get those pedals and to kind of let me know about them and saying, hey, look, you really need to check these out. These are, these are even better than some of the other stuff we've got. You just want to check them out. Like I said, Sebastian just taking me aside. I think I had my Les Paul Greenie and just said, he plugged me into the amp and just, A-B'd all the pedals, and man, they just killed. As you can hear just even through my minimalist rig, they sound amazing. So I would suggest them. Again, this one's $169. The Centauri Modified is about it's about $200. So I think it was like $394 total. That's with tax and all that stuff. So sub $400 for two very good copies of two legendary distortion overdrive pedals. Seems like a good deal to me. So they have a website, harby.com. I believe that's what it is. It's Harby Pedals. You want to just look them up, Harby, harbypedals.com. And it'll have a list of all of them. It'll have the little blue Sovtech pedal. It'll have the Centauri, the Noble Tone, and then the Centauri Modified. And you can look through, see which one you want, and grab them. You can do direct. So as of today, November 2023, free shipping within the continental U.S. They said that if you're outside the U.S., they do charge a minor shipping fee. But if you're in the U.S., shipping is free. They'll also list dealers. So my suggestion is go to a dealer. If your dealer has a similar amp as you, or an amp company, whatever, go do it. Go do that. Go buy it from your local business. Right now, local businesses, they are struggling. So try to help your local businesses. Plus, it's a great way to get your feet on one of these. Do what I do. Like, bring your guitar that you're going to use with it. Take your guitar with it. See if they have an amp. Like, if you like Fender Blues Juniors, see if they have one. If you like Vox AC30s, maybe they have a Vox AC15. See if you can take the pedal, you can plug it in. You can if they have a charger, you can charge it, plug in, bim bam boom, go. And see if it's for you. Tweak it. Obviously they won't let you play with the back stuff until you buy it, but test the little knobs, the switches. See if you can get a good tone. So that's it. Again, same thing. Do you have Harby pedals? Do you have one that you really like? Go ahead and let me know. If you have questions, about this pedal or these two pedals, put a comment, a question down there. Just understand, I have never used an actual physical Klon Centaur. I've never used or owned an actual Prince of Tone. The closest I get is this or this. So, if you want to ask me how this and this compare, I think I can give you that information. But, yeah, so that's my review. Highly recommend them. harbypedals.com, or go on their website, find your local dealer, see if there's a dealer within driving range of you, and if you can go test one out. Thank you.